for inviting us and accepts our invitation that you are ready to give us some of your views about the country, relation of European Union and also between Pakistan as well. Although APBF, All Pakistan Business Forum, is already been active in Pakistan, and you are being instrumental after you joined office to have APBF on introduced to different European countries as well, and we are also being allies and partner in different projects.
Absolutely.
Although since this venue and the meeting purpose is to take some of your views, and I think the first one is that how do you see the relationship between European Union and Pakistan?
I mean, first of all, thank you very much for coming to my embassy here and to give me this opportunity, because, you know, I've been in your country this time for 4 years. So long enough actually to have an idea of how Pakistan is going, and I've seen how Pakistan has evolved over the last 4 years. When it comes to our relationship between the EU and Pakistan, actually I see it as on an upward curve. We almost 10 years ago we had a strategic engagement plan with Pakistan. We had an engagement plan with Pakistan for 5 years, and it concluded 2 years ago. And we thought that it was a very good engagement plan from both sides. It has helped in building confidence and trust between the two sides. It has helped also in unlocking a number of issues in terms of cooperation. And we were both sides satisfied. So very recently, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Qureshi, and the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Policy and Security signed a new agreement, so which is a strategic engagement plan between the EU and Pakistan. So it's a new chapter that we are opening in our relationship. So I'm very happy that my successor will be, you know, coming here, and then she will be in charge of helping in implementing this new engagement plan.
Thank you. Sir, my second question is, what are the lucrative and potential sectors for increasing bilateral trade between European Union and Pakistan?
I think what we have seen in Pakistan, what I've seen in Pakistan for the last 4 years, is Pakistan has been very good in using what has been granted by the EU, which is GSP+.
Yes.
So Pakistan has been exporting more and more to the EU, more than 50% increase over the last 4 years, but it has been in traditional sectors.
Yes.
Textile, leather goods, sport goods, surgical instruments. So I think now it's the potential for Pakistan is also to diversify and trying to find new sectors. Using this opportunity, which I would qualify a golden opportunity of the GSP+, to take risk and to try, you know, other things that only the traditional sectors. So you can imagine, for example, I know that in Europe there is a high demand in seafoods. So for the time being, we have only 2 companies in Karachi which are authorized to export to the EU. So how that could be, you know, developed? What are the constraints? What are the investments? You know, how Pakistan can become, you know, an exporter to the EU of more seafoods, for example. Another aspect for me is, which I think is critical, is for Pakistan to put added value on what you are exporting. I will give you an example. Marble mines in KPK in Balochistan. Big reserves in Pakistan. One of my colleagues, ambassador, was in his country back in Europe, and he was visiting a harbor, a port, you know, and he saw big blocks of marbles. So he went to see, and it was from Pakistan. Okay. So he did ask the local people, so what are you going to do with that? After that, it goes to a nearby factory where it will be cut, it will be polished, So, to value addition will be there, and then send back to Pakistan. So I think here as well, I think there is a big need for Pakistan. Can be linked to GSP Plus, can be linked also to some of the programs we are supporting here in Pakistan on vocational training, professional training, because you need skills obviously for that. You need people who will have the right skills to cut the marble, to polish it, and to develop this kind of sector. But Pakistan has to do it, because all the value addition is going somewhere else, not in your country. Yeah. So there are a lot of, I think, possibilities, but it needs to a little bit to take risk, I guess, time to time on efforts to go beyond what is traditionally exported to the EU.
So, are you being satisfied about the progress being awarded of GSP Plus to Pakistan? The amount of revenue, as you said, that the 50% is already been risen, but are you still satisfied, or it's still a lot of things still to do?
It depends.
I
mean, if I took GSP Plus as a development tool for Pakistan, because it's a development tool for us, it's not a trade instrument. It's to help Pakistan in developing its own industry, its own business. So for that, I think 50% is not bad in 4 years, but as I just said, I mean, there is probably more potential for that and untapped potential that you should develop. Then there is another aspect of GSP Plus, which is linked to implementation of conventions which are linked to human rights, labor rights, environment, and good governance. So then it's also something we are looking at. We are monitoring that very closely. We are issuing reports every 2 years. So we have seen over the last 5 years that Pakistan has made some progress on a number of those conventions, but there are still room for improvement on a number of them. So it's something also that we are also looking Pakistan, to put more efforts on those one as well.
But as you already mentioned about some of the non-conventional commodities, and one of the seafood, and I know two of the companies who have been, because the compliance issues is a very, very strict about the food
Absolutely.
And everything in the European Union. But is there any program for the other people who want to be, but sometimes they don't have
capacities on the I mean, we are looking at that because there will be we will be finishing in 2020 our 7-year funding cycle in terms of assistance. So we are now starting exploring what we should do under the next funding cycle, which is 2021-2027. So my recommendations to my hierarchy and to my successor will be to see, which we did not have this time, to see how we could also have assistance which will be helping business community on industries in Pakistan to back up the GSP Plus. Yeah, we had in the past a famous TRTA, so technical assistance related to trade, that stopped 3 years ago. So something I think we should see if it could be useful for Pakistan again.
Thank you very much.
Excellency, how do you see All Pakistan Business Forum? What is your feedback about the working of APBF to increase trade between Pakistan and the European Union?
As an EU ambassador, especially when we have a GSP Plus, the business community is always, I can put it, attracted by the EU ambassador for obvious reasons. So I've been meeting, many business communities and different chambers at local level or at provincial level or at federations level. But APBF, I think it's a bit different because you have an approach which is different than the traditional chamber of commerce of industry, much more innovative and dynamic approach. We have had a number of events together, and I think that has been, for me, I found it always very interesting and very useful. And I think it's also the same for a number of my European Union member states colleagues who have been also very much engaging, I know, with you on a number of issues. So I think it's, again, I think it's probably APBF is what I'm also looking at when I'm looking at GSP Plus on traditional export sectors, is trying to get out, thinking outside the box, and trying to take initiatives which are usually not really present here in Pakistan.
Would you like to give a message to the business community in Pakistan?
I think for me, yes, there is a message for the business community in Pakistan, at least for the people who are exporting to the EU. I was talking about GSP Plus, I was talking about the different conventions which are linked to GSP Plus. I think it's important, I know that the large Pakistani companies exporting to the EU, they know that, but it's important that everybody understands that. Is that more and more in the EU, people who are buying consumers, European consumers, they will look at how things are produced. What are the conditions in which they are produced? How this t-shirt, this sweater, this pair of shoes has been produced. Does it, respect the basic social elements, social rights of the workers?
No exploitation of labor.
No exploitation. Environmental standards as well are coming more and more important. So I think it's really important to get the message through the business community here in Pakistan, because I think it's already the case, and it will become more and more the case, I think, in Europe. People are not only going to choose based on the price, but on how it is produced. And I think it's probably where also competition will be in the future between the different countries. So I think it's better to start now. I mean, for an example is also fair trade, which is something which is very at an infant stage here in Pakistan. If you look at some of your neighbors, it's starting to develop as well. So Pakistan should be also not lagging behind on that.
Very well, sir. So one last question.
Yes, please.
How did you? How's your stay in Pakistan? What is your personal feeling about Pakistan?
But I mean, when I'm going to leave your country, if I take my different stays, because it's not my first time, it's my third time in Pakistan. So I would have spent 11 years in your country, which is rather long. I've been here with at least for the two first stays, I've been here with my family and kids. Part of their childhood is in Peshawar. So for us, obviously, Pakistan is very close to our heart. It has been always a great experience, challenging time to time, when dealing with maybe some of your institutions here, not always easy, but always interesting, very demanding. You have a large country in part of the world which is full of challenges at a regional level. So my personal wish is really that Pakistan can be at peace with itself and with its neighbors.
Thank you very much.